7 o'clock. So I'm going to call the meeting of Middleton Plan Commission for September 13th, 2022 to order. And the first item is the roll call. Abby?
Bruce?
Here.
Harp?
Here.
Ramsey?
Here.
Schaefer?
Here.
Erdman Hermans is absent and excused, and Slavish is absent and excused.
Okay. All right, so at 7 o'clock, we're going to open the public hearing for a request for a conditional use permit to operate a contractor's yard at 7912 Forsythia Court. So anyone who may want to speak either in favor or against this, this is your time. So please raise your hand or just let Abby know somehow that you want to speak. And Abby, you already have 2 communications. So anyone who wants to speak at this time?
It appears that Madison Fence Company, is that you, David?
Yep, that's me.
David wishes to speak.
Okay, go ahead, David.
Hey, hi everybody. I'm David Olson, so I'm the guy that's requesting this. The conditional use permit on 7912 for Cynthia Court. So I'm the owner of Madison Fence Company. We moved in there, and that's kind of what brought all this to our attention. So we realized that we needed to apply for this permit. So our goal, is really to make the property look better, and kind of in doing that, adding a fence, to, just kind of because it's right by the bike path and everything. But I grew up in Middleton. I'm from Middleton. Went to Middleton High School. I have a good relationship with the owner. So our goal is really just to revive this property. So kind of what I have to say. If anyone has any questions.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who may want to speak? I don't see any raised hands. Abby, do you have anyone else?
I don't see anyone else. And so I will just take this opportunity to mention the 3 comments that we received in advance of the meeting. One was from Jean Whitish expressing concerns. She helped to develop the business park and operates property nearby. And then Jeff Parisi expressed concerns. He owns the Vault Auto storage facility nearby. And then Daniel Leonard, I emailed that comment out today. He is a lessee at the Auto Vault property, and he also expressed concerns.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone else who may want to speak? Okay, I'm going to close that part of the public hearing, and we're going to go to the second public hearing, which is for a request for a conditional use permit to construct a CXC training facility at 4355 Schwartz Road. Anyone who may want to speak either in favor or against this facility, please raise your hand and I will ask you to give you a chance to speak. Anyone who may want to speak against the cross-country skiing training facility at 4335 Schwartz Road, please raise your hand or pick up the phone and speak. Okay, I don't see anyone, Abby.
Nope, I don't.
Okay, I'm going to close that part of the public hearing now, and we are going to go on to the approval of the minutes. These are the Plan Commission minutes of August 23rd, 2022. Need a motion?
Mayor Brar, before you do it, this is Mark. Abby, were there any statements for the CXC training facility?
No, there were not.
Okay. I just want to know for the minutes. Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, great. Thank you.
And regarding the motion, I sent out indicated a change that is needed to the minutes. So you should have that in your emails.
Okay, what was the change?
There was a couple typos in the first motion for the item item, the motion for item 1.
Oh, okay. Okay, moved by, okay. All right, so, okay, with that, with those 1 or 2 changes, need a motion to approve the minutes.
Ramsey will move to approve the minutes.
Need a second?
Schaefer seconds.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? Okay, otherwise, all those in favor of the approval of the Plan Commission minutes of August 23rd, 2022 to say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? The motion passes unanimously. Okay, we are on to agenda item number 1. This is the request for conditional use permit to operate a contractor's yard at 7912 Forsythia Court. And this will be Abby or Mark, or we just had a public hearing just about it, so.
Yes, yep, this property is zoned B3, which is highway business. And the reason that I actually found out about the change in land use at this property is because the property lessee who spoke during the hearing, David Olson, contacted the city, and he requested design approval to install a fence around the property. And when I went out to take a look at the property in advance of writing staff comments, I noticed that the types of outdoor storage that were happening at the property had changed. So I went back and looked at aerial photography over many decades, and there has consistently been outdoor storage on the property, but it used to be things like boats and trailers, and now it was things like fencing materials, so coiled chain link fence, trucks for the fence company, etc. And so I started looking into the zoning question, and I flagged it for the Plan Commission that I thought that the use of the property was not in compliance with the current zoning. And then I worked with the property owner to recommend that they request a conditional use permit to operate this type of facility on the property. I do want to be clear, though, that there has been outdoor storage on that property for many decades. It's just that the types of storage materials have changed. And so under the Highway Business District, a contractor's yard is a conditional use. That is a pretty broad land use category. And I worked with our city attorney on this a bit just to be sure that we could regulate a subcategory within that more broad category, because I think that a lot of the concerns that were raised in the public input we received were around heavier types of contractor yard facilities. So lumber storage that is going to cause a lot of noise and trucking in and out, or gravel materials, or other types of heavier contractor yard usage. What Mr. Olson is requesting is approval just to operate his fence company out of the facility. And I think it's in my staff's opinion that this type of facility would not negatively impact the surrounding properties as long as it were limited to that subcategory of a contractor's yard. So Matt Fleming, our assistant city attorney, felt that it was appropriate for the city to condition the approval on it being limited to just a fence company's contractor's yard. He also indicated support for limiting it just to this particular company, if that was something that the Plan Commission was more comfortable with. He said that there would be no objection from his part on limiting it to just this one company. So unlike a traditional conditional use where it would run with the land, and even if the property changes hands, as long as that conditional use was approved, it would continue to run with the land. We could limit it just to one particular company if that was the desire of the Plan Commission. I would recommend requiring a fence that would surround the property Mr. Olson is amenable to that and actually has provided a more decorative example of the type of fence that he would like to install that would include a top cap and look quite a bit nicer. I think surrounding a majority of the property that would provide screening. The only part that would not include a wood privacy fence under his application would be about a 20-foot wide gate. And he said that in his experience, it's pretty challenging to do wood for a larger gate like that without causing problems with the functionality of it. And so for that, he was proposing something more similar to this. So I'm happy to answer any questions, and the applicant is also on the call here.
Okay, questions for Abby or the applicant? Please, commissioners, please raise your hands. So, Abby, I read the comments from the Ottawa folks. So this will be right next to it, right? It will be, so I couldn't tell, but this will be sort of a east of that property, right? That's 6913. So this is the dark blue color, is that the property?
So the darker blue is the property where the proposal is happening. And then immediately west of that is another property owner, and there is outdoor storage taking place on that property as well. And then the flag lot to the west of that is the vault.
Oh, okay. So somehow the number is that this is 6912, well, whatever that number is, I think, okay, it's 7912 and that other vault is 7913, right?
You mean the address of the vault?
Yeah, yeah.
It's, let's see here. Well, 7920 Forsythia is the property immediately west of the property that we're discussing, which is 7912.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's not adjacent.
Okay, okay, so all right. Okay, any questions? So it's not, okay. Randy Bruce and then John Schaefer. Please go ahead, Randy.
This question's for the applicant. Will the fence continue along the property line, along the bike path, or will it just above, dead end into the building itself?
David?
Yep, sorry. So, I mean, it's we can be kind of flexible with that. Our goal was kind of to maximize, most of that property as possible. But basically, yeah, it would go, I mean, the bike path continues for a long ways, pretty much to where the corner of the property is, if that's what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And it would jet off the building on the backside, maybe like 8 to 10 feet out. Towards the belt line.
Okay, so your east property line, would there be a fence along that entire east property line then?
No, it would start at the back of the building.
Okay.
The flower shop.
And then where would it? Where would it start on the north edge?
Over there.
Oh,
that's the south edge.
I don't know my directions based on this.
Yeah, off of Century Avenue. Where would it be on the Century Avenue side?
Yep. So still rear of the building, down low. Yep, right in there, and come kind of angle towards the middle median there. There's like a patch of grass, and then angle across the driveway.
I see. So there'd be no fence along Century Avenue.
No.
Or along the west property line, which would be your neighbor opposite the belt line.
Right. Yep. Yeah, it's just in the bottom chunk where there's no building, basically. Yep.
And there would be no storage other than that. All the storage would be within that fenced area?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
John?
Yeah, I mean, from what we're looking where the property line is, if you went north with storage, you block your access into the building with vehicles. But, you know, we're reading through the comments of some of the people who are kind of against this. I don't think a fence company is something that has trucks going in and out every 10 minutes. Like you know, I'm very familiar with some of the operations up at Wanakee Fence and things too. And I don't think that's a concern from my mind. It's visual, but it actually seems to me like you're doing very little different than what's been done here for decades. And, you know, it is an industrial area. And I think that I'm very comfortable with presuming the restrictions put on this, that it belongs as a variance to your business and that it not be grandfathered into the property and that you do this fence. I don't see much difference between what you're doing now. So.
Okay, other questions or comments, please raise your hand. So what I see, the fence is only on the south side.
Mm-hmm.
Or well, okay, so this is, okay, so this is, the building is, this property is right across from that roundabout. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Any further questions?
I'd like to ask a question. I can't find my raise hand thing.
Sure. Go ahead. Go ahead, Chris.
We're not voting on a fence though tonight, right? We're just voting on the conditional use.
Abby?
That's correct, but I would like to make the conditional use conditioned upon either the subcategory of contractor yard to apply only to a fence, or if the commission desires just only to this particular company, and conditioned upon their installation of a fence as discussed. And that could be approved at the staff level, assuming that they're not proposing anything different than kind of what we've discussed here.
Okay. That sounds like a good condition.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? Okay, then I need a motion to approve.
Schaefer will approve conditioned on the fulfillment of staff recommendations and concerns.
And John, is that motion then to keep it with Madison Fence Company?
Yes.
Specifically? Okay.
That's right. Not to the property, but to the company.
I'll second that.
Okay, any further questions or comments? It is conditional use only for this particular, only for the fence company, and they will work with the staff to take care of the fence and other issues and other comments which Abby had made. They're also part of the motion. Okay, any questions or further questions or comments? Otherwise, all those in favor of the motion to approve the conditional use permit to operate a contractor's yard at 7912 Forsythia Court, say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Motion passes. We are on to item number 2, which is really a nice thing to see happening. This is the request for a conditional use permit to construct a CXC training facility at 4355 Schwartz Road. Daphne.
Yes, so this is for a building on the new CXC property. You know, they're kind of building this in conjunction with, you know, their trails to support, you know, the trail usage. Most of the building is actually for storage, but they also have, you know, a multi-purpose room for training and events. And they're also putting up a temporary tent structure. And so outdoor, you know, other recreational facilities is a conditional use in the agriculture district, which is what this is zoned as. So they just need a conditional use permit for these structures.
Okay, any questions or comments? John Schaefer. John,
Yeah, I think it's great. I mean, we spent with Parks 2-3 years getting this going, and I think it's a really major, nice, significant asset to the city. And I was even surprised that it needed a conditional use permit, because this was always part of the plan, and it's gone through and through everybody's approval to this part. So I stand strongly in support of it. So.
Are you making a motion to approve then?
I will make a motion, yes.
Okay, I will second it. Okay, question, and this is based on this resolution of engineering and staff comments, middle of lighting and landscaping plan, approval of any signage to be submitted and approved at the later plan commission meeting.
Somebody doesn't like this.
Well, somebody is saying, yeah, I'm also in favor of it. So, okay. Yeah. Chris Hart. Chris, go ahead, please.
Just wanted to ask about the temporary tent structure, and in terms of when that's going to be up and taken down. Is that pretty much just in the summertime?
I believe so. I think they had like discussed, you know, having something like, I don't know, like those like outdoor wedding venues where they just put it up in the summer, and it'll mostly be like a concrete something, you know, the rest of the time. You know, they had, you know, expressed interest in holding like events sort of like that, and having that tent structure only out in the summer times.
Yuri, you want to say anything?
Yes, thank you. Yes, this actually tent will be for the winter time as well, because we are planning to bring events. That's the whole idea of the facility, to bring events year round in the area. So the tent will be until we get to the second phase of the trailhead building. So our plan is to have the building there in the winter as well.
So my next question was going to be, what kind of events are you having there? You mentioned weddings. What other kinds of things are you planning to do in this?
So social events like weddings, corporate events, and then mainly it will be, well, probably 50-50 will be sport events, cross-country skiing, running, mountain biking, any events we can get. So tourism is excited to welcome any events to fill the hotel rooms and bring people to Middleton.
I guess my next question then is about toilets for those kind of events.
The portable toilet, porta potties for the phase one, that will be the plan. We had porta potties last winter, and we've had as many as 200 to 300 participants at some events. So we just brought additional ones, and that hasn't been an issue. And that's what we've done in the past at Elva Park in Madison.
Okay, thank you.
Any further questions from any of the commissioners? Any further questions? And Abby, is there a plan in the long run to bring the water and sewer to the site?
I don't believe so, because this property is outside of the urban service area, and it's also in an area that was determined, my understanding is a long time ago, by the Capital Area Regional Planning Commission, that there needed to be a study of the Black Earth Creek watershed before any sewer and water could be extended to this location. This is one of the few parts of the city of Middleton that are within the Black Earth Creek watershed. So I don't think that there are plans at this time to extend water and sewer.
Okay, thank you. Any further questions or comments from the commissioners at this time, or from Yuri? Otherwise, all those in favor of the motion to approve the conditional use permit to construct a CXC training facility at 4355 Schwartz Road, say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Motion passes unanimously. We are on to item number 3. This is the design review for American Farm River 2224 Pleasant View Road. Mark?
Yes, Mayor, this is very simple, straightforward sign, flat sign that would be on the facade adjoining the tenant space. And I recommend approval of the design as designed, of the sign as designed.
Okay.
Ramsey will move approval.
Need a second?
Second.
Okay, second by Chris. Any questions or comments? Any questions or comments from the commissioners? Otherwise, all those in favor of the motion to approve the sign design for American Farm Railroad at 2224 Pleasant View Road, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes unanimously. We are on to item number 4. This is the concept review for Cooper's Hawk Winery and Restaurant at Greenway Station, 1611 Deming Way. Definitely.
Yes, so this is a business that will be replacing the Maurice's and the Tanner's bar and restaurant at Greenway Station. And so they've presented, they're kind of combining the two storefronts and changing the exterior with some major modifications on the exterior. And so they wanted to do concept review just to make sure everything was to the plan commissioner's liking. And then next month they'll be back for official design review. So I just recommended providing any feedback and then approving the concept.
Okay, please raise your hand to provide your input. So it's going to be it's going to be a huge change, right? Combining those, it's almost big block there, isn't it? So I do see a big transformation happening there. Okay, Lauren, you want to provide some overview or input? Lauren William, you're the owner, right?
Yes, I'm the owner's rep. There's a couple of us on here. Dan Bernatek is with Aria Group, who might also speak on behalf of any questions that are around the architecture specifically. And there's a couple of other of us as well to support any questions you might have. But this is our second location, Cooper's Hawk, that would be coming to Wisconsin. This would be 4 walls that we would build brand new here next to, like Daphne said, next to the existing structure. For those of you who aren't, who are new to the Cooper's Hawk brand, we are a modern casual dining experience. We have a 500,000 person wine club membership. It's over that at this point, but so huge wine club membership. And our Cooper's Hawk experience for wine club members is one of 3 under our umbrella of brands. Cooper's Hawk has a Napa style tasting room and an artisanal market at the entry, which you could see, I think in the earlier parts of the packet on the floor plan. I'm not sure if you guys have that up. Yep. So the entry is there where the cursor is. And as you come through, you're in the tasting room, you come through to the host and you've got retail wine and retail wine glasses and all the things you would need to support drinking wine and enjoying wine, maybe cheese and things like that. And then we've got a bar, a main bar that's nice and cozy, main dining room with views into our scratch kitchen and a private dining space that can be rented out for private events. And off of the bar, there's a long patio that has the exterior, you can see sort of some patio planters and some metal railings that kind of come up and down and create an intimate al fresco dining experience. So that's sort of the nuts and bolts of who we are as a Cooper's Hawk. We are butting up next to that existing building and we are using the existing service yard. Then that electrical room and mechanical room are also existing and we're going to maintain that. As we go to the exterior, if there's any questions, we can always stop, but this is the concept page for our exterior. All of our concepts look different. We made this one especially for Middleton. It's modern rustic is the style of this architecture. We think it fits well with the surrounding areas and the nature that sort of comes through in Middleton. And so we're really excited about the look of it. And then you can see some of our sketches, which are a little rough at this point. The main thing we wanted to point out here are materials. So the brown material you see is a wood look Nichiha. Fiber cement, I think, is the material. And then we have ephes that has reveals in it. That's the black material you see, and the gray is also ephes, but that's formed in a way to look like concrete. So it adds different texture. It's a little bit elevated in its finish. We take a lot of care with our plantings as well around the building, so making sure that they are nice and tall and add color and soften the building corners and the edges of the architecture. On the west elevation and the south elevation here, you can see that we've got a sign that kind of comes together. So both facing Deming Way and Greenway Boulevard, we've got sort of signs. That's such an important corner to have signs on both sides so that we can draw attention to the restaurant that way. And then of course the main parking field faces the front door. So we've got a feather to support that entry as well. I think that's on the next, on the next page. Yep. Within the ephes, to detract from the service yard there where those gates are, we have a large scale mural graphic that would be painted on that ephes. It's abstract branches, again, nodding back to that nature, modern rustic feel. Can I answer any questions?
So Lauren, you said it will be the second one in Wisconsin. Where is the other one?
It's in Brookfield.
Oh, okay, okay. Well, another good place. Yes.
Yeah, it's great. We took over an existing claim jumpers, I think, there a while ago, a long time ago. It's been a great success there, and really huge wine club membership there as well.
So this is going to be pretty large facility, looks like it, isn't it? Because the Tenants Bar and Grill is pretty good size, and then you are including the other part there as well. So looks pretty good to me. So let's hear from the commissioners. So who is ready to provide their input? It looks like Randy was interested at one time, but anyone who wants to start?
Mr. Merrill, I'll start. I really like the design. I think it's very thoughtfully done. No disrespect to Tanner's, but I really like this design. So I would like to see as much as possible that it, what we see here is what you end up with.
Yeah, I agree with you, Elder Ramsey. It looks, what I have seen looks very nice. So Randy, Bruce?
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a good looking structure and it'll be a nice addition. If I had a request for any changes, I would ask that the concrete looking IFAS, use a material that's either concrete or the tumbled brick or something else other than that. I'm afraid of how that will come across. I just haven't seen it, and I just don't know how successful that'll look. And you've got quite a bit of ephes there as it stands, so maybe having a different material would be a nice accent. But that's the extent of my comments.
Yeah, even maybe stone. Of course, I'm partial to stone, but well, you are an architect, so I like your input. So John Schaefer.
Yeah, I really like the design as well. It's not cluttered. It's not a pastiche of hugely different contrasting colors and everything. So it breaks up the whole facade, but it still looks very unified as you do it. And I see too many buildings that try to look like 5 different.
Okay, Chris Hart.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I agree with what's been said. I think it's a nice looking facility. Certainly will be a nice enhancement to Greenway Cross Station.
Yeah.
Where do you see the dumpsters? I'm looking for the dumpsters on the plan and I'm not immediately seeing them. Just wondering how you're going to handle trash, because that's always an issue with a restaurant.
Yeah, so those where it says new gates, that is where our one compactor and our 1 8-yard recycle dumpster will sit.
Okay, okay. All right, they're just not showing the dumpsters on the plan, right?
Right, yeah, they're beyond the gate. You might be able to see it in the
yeah, you can see them on a schematic drawing. It's on there.
Yep.
It says existing, yeah.
I see the yard, I see the existing stuff, I don't see the dumpsters.
So the dumpsters are the 2 rectangles with the 2 tiny rectangles next to them. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I presumed, yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Gotcha. Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, any other questions or comments? Any other questions or comments?
No, go for it. It looks good.
All right. So Lauren, folks are happy. So yeah, do look at the outside, what Randy had said, and that might even add more to it. But, you know, I guess so you said you have in Brookfield, is it more or less looks similar to this, or it's different?
Our Brookfield location, because it was not a ground up, we took over existing claim jumpers. It does not look currently like any of our other Cooper's Hawks, but we are doing a renovation to that project that will bring it up to, it's more of a, it's a different kind of artisanal exterior that we're going for there. So it's a little different, but still polished, modern, casual dining experience. But they are different for sure.
Okay. Yeah, I like what you see, the polished, modern dining experience. Yes. Okay. Any other questions or comments from any of the commissioners? Well, you think you have enough input here now, so it looks like everybody's happy and they're saying go forward. Okay, all right, we're going to go to the next item. That's item number 5. And that is the design review for wheel and sprocket expansion at 6637 University Avenue. So that will be Mark.
Yep, that's me. Neither the applicant nor the owner can attend, so but I'm passing along some comments and some additional information that
Mark, I'm here. Mark Danfoss is on the line.
Okay, I see you, Dan. Sorry, Gary Tree said you weren't coming, so.
Yeah, nope, I'm here.
Okay, thank you. Well, I'll just briefly I had a few comments to make. So the intent is for the exterior design changes to reflect the wheel and sprocket space that's already at the business is already there, and they're going to be growing into the former chocolatarian space. So the design is meant to create a cohesive look to the building. Gary Tree, on behalf of Dan, did indicate some technical details that really I don't need to get into here. It kind of goes beyond the purview of the Planning Commission regarding some enhancements to the pavement and things like that. So I won't get into that, ADA issues. Regarding signage, I had suggested to the applicants last week, and Gary said he didn't think it was a concern, but Dan, since you're here, maybe you can comment on it. What I had suggested was that our sign code allows an ancillary wall sign on the same building elevation as long as the building has at least 100 lineal feet of frontage, and this has 103 feet. And so I suggested that that there be a condition of allowing the second sign as long as it is, let's see what I write down here, as long as it is less than half the size of the main sign as allowed by the sign code. So that would be my revised recommendation.
Hey.
And that's probably going to be fine with wheel and sprocket to have a less than a 50% sign on that side of the building. I don't think they want something that says repair entrance or whatever. I think they want to treat it as something that will draw people also to that front door. There's been a little change in the, not the inside usage per se, but it sounds to me like the Bike Federation of Wisconsin is going to have an office in that building. And I am going to treat it as a separate building. And so because I'm treating it as a second building, the wheel and sprocket sign can certainly be smaller, and we may ask for some sort of sign variance going forward if the Bike Federation of Wisconsin needs any kind of outside entrance signage. I don't believe they will, but it's a possibility at this point.
Mm-hmm. What do you think of that, Mark?
Well, it's the first I've heard of that. That's very exciting if they want to have an office here. Obviously, if this were a separate business, we would allow a separate sign. What I'm suggesting in my revised staff comments is that you authorize staff to approve an ancillary wall sign that is less than half the size of the main sign. So I think if you just would give me the, you could give us the flexibility to work with the applicants to, put appropriate signage on the building, that would be fine.
Yeah, and that's all I'm asking for also.
Okay. Okay, questions or comments from the commissioners? From what I have seen, it looks very nice. It would be a huge improvement over what is there. So, and yeah, I'm pretty pleased. But let's hear from the commissioners. So please raise your hand or just start. Okay, Randy Bruce. Randy?
I'm supportive of the design review. I think the changes are an enhancement. My only comment would be I wouldn't be supportive of having 3 signs on the face of that building. In other words, 2 wheel and sprocket signs and then another for the Wisconsin Bike Federation. I think unless they're taking a whole separate suite and it's done in a way that meets our sign code, I guess I wouldn't support that for a variance.
Okay.
I don't think at this point in time we're looking for a variance to be able to do that. We're just trying to let people know that the Bike Federation is going to be in that building, and Wheel and Sprocket will have to give up their sign if the Bike Federation wanted something over the top of that entrance. If they were going to use it as a big place to hold some sort of meetings. But I don't see that as being the case at the moment. They're not asking from Wheel and Sprocket a tremendous amount of space to my knowledge. So I don't see it as a problem with the signage. So Wheel and Sprocket is the one that is asking just to have their name over the top of their second entrance.
But it will be good that if we can have a Bike Federation come to Middleton, that would be awesome. So I think, I'm sure everyone on the Plan Commission will support it. So it's just a question of sign. So thank you for clearing that up, Dan. Any further questions or comments from the commissioners? Please raise your hand. I don't see anyone. Any questions? So, okay, and Mark or Abby, what do you want from here now? I need to make sure that you saw the engineering comments that there's an alleyway. You can't have a parking or a sidewalk there. So I'm sure that will be part of the motion or whatever, that won't be allowed. Okay, yes, Mark, go ahead.
Well, I sent you a suggested motion, revised recommendation shortly before the meeting. So that's what I still continue to recommend that.
Okay, all right. Any questions or comments or motions?
Bruce will move approval.
Okay.
To approve the design changes contingent on resolution of staff recommendations, including not allowing any parking stall or sidewalk within the drive between the two buildings, as well as authorizing staff to approve an ancillary wall sign that is less than half the size of the main sign as allowed by the sign code.
All right, need a second.
Schaefer will second.
Okay, now let the discussion begin. Question or comments? Please raise your hand. I don't see any raised hands. Any questions or comments? Okay, otherwise on all those in favor of the motion to approve the design review for wheel and sprocket expansion at 6637 University Avenue, as the motion made by Randy and seconded by Commissioner Schaefer. Say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Motion passes. All right, we are on to the last item of the evening here. So some of you had mentioned that when are we going to have an in-person meetings? I know these Zoom meetings are very convenient and, you know, well, anyway, so that's the city council has been meeting in person for several months now. And so Plan Commission is another very important body of the city. And what do you think? Let's hear from all of you. So what do you, well, let's start from the top for District 7 Elder Ramsey. That's what I have on this. And then John Schaefer, and then Randy Bruce, and then Chris.
Yeah, I'm perfectly fine with meeting in person if, you know, if that's the will of the majority of the commission.
Okay. The next one is John Schaefer.
Yeah, I concur with that statement. I'm more than happy to do it, presuming that the technology is there, that we don't fiddle and fuss around for hours not being able to see things. I mean, I really like the ability to see and share screens and get the data in front of us, but I think it's good for us to meet in person, so I'm totally for it.
Okay. Randy Bruce.
I agree. I think it'll be good for everybody to meet in person. Has the cities have they gotten the technology so that we can do Zoom?
Hybrid?
Yeah, hybrid.
No, that will be in January. So it's for the delayed. So it will be not that.
That's my only concern, is that we're, you know, we may not get as much public input. But
okay, so Abby, we couldn't really meet in that conference room B, right? That does have all the facilities.
I think it would be big enough if it were just commission members, but then once you add members of the public, I think the room would be too small.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree, because we often have 15 or 20 people signed on to these meetings.
Yeah. Chris Hart.
I'm all for meeting in person, but I do like the idea of being able to do it hybrid. And for those commissioners who may say be traveling and we still need a quorum, I think it would be advantageous, of course, to give the option for that as well as the public input option.
Okay, I'm with all of you. So yeah, so let's, Abby will explore it. So, okay, if any questions or comments from any of the commissioners or the staff?
Just a couple additional things to consider. So I've been running the community campus committee meetings as hybrid meetings, and that has worked really well because that body can fit in conference room B, so we haven't had any issues. The technology that our IT department ordered was anticipated to arrive at the end of August, and then they had hoped to have 1 month to get it installed, and it was going to be done by the end of September. Unfortunately, due to supply chain issues, that apparently this is technology that a lot of people are ordering right now and it's in high demand. They don't anticipate getting the shipment now until sometime in January of 2023. So I think it's really up to the Plan Commission to decide if you want to go back to meeting in person. But if we're going to have the whole commission there present, I don't think we have any opportunity for a hybrid meeting. Mayor Brar and Daphne and Mark and I ran hybrid meetings for a while during the beginning of the pandemic, but we only had just 5 or fewer people in the room. So I think once we get more than that, we're going to have problems with echoing and making sure everybody's muting. So I just don't think we are there yet to do it with a larger group. So if we went back to in-person, it would have to be strictly in person for the time being. And then we would also need a little bit of notice, because we would need to get Moonstruck Media Company back under contract to record the video so that we can still stream it onto the YouTube channel and post the meeting video. And I was just looking into the cost of that. I don't know, I know that this is budgeted under, I think, the administration department, but it looks like from the last cost estimate that I had from Moonstruck, it was about $100 per meeting hour. And so I was just kind of roughly assuming that Plan Commission meetings are 1.5 hours on average. So that would be just under $4,000 per year. And it's not really a huge cost. I would just need to make sure that we have enough funds in the budget yet this year if we wanted to go back immediately. We can't go back until after the meeting in 2 weeks. That one has to be remote because we've already done a public hearing notice with that being remote. So the earliest meeting that we could look at in person would be on October 11th.
Yeah, so my feeling is we could try one and see how it goes. And if we have issues, we can always go back to Zoom, right? So are you guys ready to try one and see how it goes?
Abby, I had a question. Wasn't there also discussion once of if we go back to in-person that there has to be a quorum physically present?
Well, in this case, we're talking about going back to only in person.
No, I understand, but when we get to the point of the hybrid technology being in place, didn't our attorneys advise us that if you have people meeting in person, then it has to be a quorum? Or is that, I mean, that was information I heard a few months ago, so maybe that's...
They were working on revising that, I believe. We have been having community campus committee meetings without having a physical quorum present. I believe that it was an ordinance amendment that was done under the emergency order, which still has not been lifted. So I think that once the emergency order is lifted, I believe that you might be correct about that, Mark. But under this scenario, we're not talking about hybrid. We're only talking about having the meetings in person.
So Abby, maybe you could send a survey that, starting the date which you mentioned that we will be able to attend. So yeah, that can go from there. So
okay.
And Abby, just as a point, I've realized I'm going to miss the next 2 meetings because I'm gone 3 weeks, and it's the 1st and the 3rd, so I'll miss both those meetings.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Okay. If there are no further questions or comments, then we need a motion to adjourn.
Ramsey, move to adjourn.
Need a second.
Schaefer will second.
Okay. All those in favor of the motion to adjourn, say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? So we are adjourned. Have a wonderful, delicious evening and great dinner. So
we'll see you all in about 5 weeks. Bye-bye.
Yes.
Have a great trip.
Yeah, thanks.
Have lots of fun. Don't worry about the things. So bye, Abby. Bye, everyone.
Bye.